How to become a sexy, confident, magnetic woman. What does it mean to become a magnetic, confident woman? For me, it means a woman who's radiating this beautiful energy about her. You know, so many of us, when we think of magnetic women, we automatically assume perhaps it's to do with the way she looks like externally. But you know what? The thing that makes a person the most attractive goes beyond their looks. It's to do with their energy. It's to do with who they are. And for me, a sexy, magnetic, confident woman is a woman who is embodiment, fully embraced in who she is, understanding her worth. This is the type of woman who isn't going to go chasing after things, the relationship, the friendship, chasing after people to make her feel good and to validate her. This is the type of woman who understands that her worth comes from herself. She's learned to validate herself. And that's what I'm going to get into in today's video. 6 ways to practice becoming a woman who is embodying that magnetic side to her, feeling more confident and sexy in her body and who she is. And I think it's things that we can all work on, no matter what your background is, what you look like. Becoming magnetic, remember I said it's to do with our energy. And it's things that we can all think about and develop on. So I really hope that you can take something away from this video and find it useful, find it helpful, and also perhaps enjoy the video. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Number 1, what makes a woman magnetic, sexy and confident so that she can draw people into her? She attracts the guys, attracts the people, the friends who are interested to get to know her more. What is it about this type of woman? Number 1 is her mindset. You know, our mindset, it's a reflection of our reality. What we think is what we will get in our life. It's simply put, we become our mind, our beliefs, and that's how important it is. It's about a woman who can cultivate a positive and confident mindset. Think about it this way. I'm sure you've been around people who constantly complaining about things and just always having something to talk about that's negative, that's draining your energy, and you can't wait to get away from this type of person. When someone is negative, it repels you. So when we find a woman who can embody a positive and confident mindset, we love to be around this type of woman because it makes us feel good. When she's confident in who she is and secure in who she is, including her imperfections, it gives the rest of us permission to also be relaxed around her, to feel good around her, to feel inspired by this woman who's showing the rest of us that it's okay to accept ourselves. It's okay to be yourself even though you are not perfect. And that's what draws people to her. She makes them feel warm. She makes people feel good and inspired to be around her. So, what are some of the ways that you can practice cultivating a confident and positive mindset? Number 1 is believing that you deserve the best. Believing that you deserve the good in life. I think so many of us we have limiting beliefs about ourselves, and so therefore we get what we believe. You know, if you believe that you only deserve to be in a relationship where someone doesn't treat you right, where someone is going to take advantage of you and you cannot get anything better, that this is as good as it's going to get, guess what? Sadly, that's what you're going to get, because our beliefs, again, become our reality. So it's about having that belief in yourself that you deserve good things in your life, you deserve the best. And as you start believing this and understanding that you also deserve it, you get in life what you believe you deserve. And that's how you start cultivating a confident mindset about who you are and what you expect in life, and having a positive outlook. Number 2 is to catch yourself when you are talking to yourself in a negative way. You know, we all have this horrible voice in our head that's always telling us that we are not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're never enough, blah, blah, blah. You know, you know the voice that I'm referring to. We all have it in our head, and it's there to protect us. You know, it's there to protect us from danger and harm. You know, it goes way back to evolutionary the days where the way us humans have evolved to protect us from harm. But in today's modern day and age, we don't have the same danger exposed to us as we previously did. So we don't constantly need to listen to this voice telling us BS. When you start developing a great relationship with yourself, that sets the foundation for everything in life. The greatest relationship that you will have isn't going to be with your future partner or your friends. It's actually going to be the one that you have with yourself, because you are going to be with yourself forever. And we cannot run away from ourselves. So we may as well take the time to become our own best friend. So as hard as it may be, change that negative self-talk to a more compassionate dialogue with yourself, where if you mess up with something, rather than being so hard with yourself, talk to yourself like you would do to a friend. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but the more you practice doing this, then it will become a habit gradually. Number 3 is to surround yourself with people who are uplifting, who are positive. We become like the people who we surround ourselves with. Trust me, I know. Think about it yourself as well. When you constantly surround yourself with people who are negative, who are always seeing the bad in the world, and, you know, eventually you will start thinking like these people. It will start rubbing off on you. That's how much of an impact people have on us and the influence they can have on our mindset. So if you are careful about who you surround yourself with, you will notice that you start thinking positively, like the way your friends have overcome challenges. You start thinking in an inspiring way. It all depends on who you surround yourself with. And it doesn't mean that never go next to people who have issues and problems, because the reality is we all have people in our life that are probably going to be negative, like the people in our work. Maybe we have family members that we cannot get away from. But it's about understanding that some people are just going to be like that, and limiting yourself to how much you expose yourself around these people, because they are going to bring you down. The next point number 2, how to become a sexy, magnetic woman who attracts things into your life. Number 2 is to prioritize physical health and fitness. And I know some people may be like, oh God, but you know, I think our health, it's the number one form of wealth, more than money, more than anything. If we lose our health, game over. You know, that's when it becomes a struggle to enjoy even the most simple things in life. And I know, trust me, I have elderly people in my life who I support sometimes, and I can see losing health is losing wealth. So if we can keep that in mind and prioritize taking care of ourselves, this is what makes a person, makes a woman radiant. It's that energy. You know, when you take care of yourself, when you exercise, you feel good, you feel sexy. And it's not just about how it's going to look externally, although that is what's going to happen anyway as a result of taking care of yourself. It's about how it's going to make you feel. Taking care of yourself is going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel good in your body. When you move, you know, you release these endorphins and hormones that make you feel sexy and good in your body, and naturally you'll exude this next level confidence about your body and how you feel in your body, and people can see it. We can see someone who loves to take care of themselves and they are freaking attractive. People are drawn to this type of person. 3 things that I want to mention in today's video is, number 1 is to exercise. When you exercise, as I said already, you are going to feel good. So find a type of exercise that's going to make you feel good. You know, this could be lifting weights. For lifting weights can make us feel strong and sexy. You know, it makes you feel good in your body. Maybe it could be that. Or if that's not your thing, maybe it could be running. It could be cycling. It could be swimming. Whatever your thing is, try. Unless we try, we don't know what we like and what we don't like. Number 2 is to be careful about what you eat, being mindful about the type of food that you eat, understanding that, you know, food is like medicine. It's a fuel for our body. If we start seeing it medicinal, what we eat is what we become, then we start seeing food differently. This is what's going to maybe stop us from eating all the processed foods and the burgers, because we know that we are going to become what we eat, literally. You know, if you nourish your body with nutritious food, veggies, healthy food, eating the berries and the food that are good for your body, this is what's going to make you feel good. This is what's going to stop and prevent you in the future from developing illnesses and disease, so you can carry on doing things that you want to do, and it will radiate on your skin. You know, the food that we eat, I really believe it does radiate on our skin. And the final thing that I would like to mention in today's video about your health and fitness and how this really impacts your aura and how magnetic you become is prioritizing sleep. Sleep, I believe it's the natural way to anti-age, to just rejuvenate, let your body heal, get rid of toxins. Sleep is so important, and I try my best to prioritize this. You know, there are some days when it can be hard, I get it, and so many of us, we may have commitments, we may have children, which makes it challenging for us to get that amount of sleep that we need. But if we can understand the importance of sleep and how it can impact our body, then we can at least slowly start ways to prioritize sleep, make it important, ensuring that we get enough sleep. And it's not about going to sleep at 10 p.m. and waking up at 5. This is about finding what works for you and your circadian rhythm, because we're all different, and working with that. Number 1 thing is to just ensure that you are prioritizing sleep for your emotional well-being, for your body to heal, for you to feel good, because We all know on a day when we don't get enough sleep, that's when we're cranky, that's when we lose our mind, that's when we find ourselves having a really challenging day. So sleep really is a cure for a lot of things. Right, moving on to point number 3, how to become a magnetic, sexy, confident woman is to take care of your emotional well-being. We all know when we're around someone who's quite frantic and chaotic, that's not fun to be around, and that's not also attractive to be around. However, when we're around someone who has this aura about them that's peaceful and calm, this is so attractive. When a woman knows how to control her emotions and has mastered the art of controlling her emotions, this is an attractive trait to have, I believe. So how can we work on strengthening our emotional well-being? Well, there's a couple of ways that we can do that. The first is not operating from that reactivity mode, but rather taking your time to respond to situations and things, in particular when they are bothering you. The truth is, we cannot control things that happen out there, but something that we can control is the way we choose to respond to situations. And what I have found, someone that found it really hard to not react straight away. Sometimes things can get the better of me and I can be triggered. When people know how to push your button, you know what I'm talking about, right? And before you know it, you've just lost control and you say things that you regret after. What I have found that has really helped me was to just take time out. Just take some time before you respond. That way, it will give you a chance to calm down, evaluate what's going on, and just not be so reactive where the situation has got the better of you. Sometimes we have this urgency that we need to respond to people, their invitations, and everything else. But things don't have to be that urgent, Things are not going to just stop if you don't respond to people straight away, depending on the situation. So when you learn to just take your time and understand that after a good night's sleep, when you go for a walk, emotions pass, things calm down, it will help you to regulate your emotions and understand how you are feeling, calm down, and then you can come back and respond to situation in a more gracious way that you will feel better about. Number 2 is to set boundaries. This one I think is so hard, in particular for women. We find it so hard, many of us, to say no, so we end up just saying yes to so many things as a default, and then we have too many things on our calendar, then we feel resentment, we're exhausted, we're tired, because we're just doing too much. And the truth is, we don't have to say yes all the time. I get it. In life, we have to do things that we don't want to do, in particular for our family and, friends. But I'm talking about situations where you don't have to go to that event that's an ad hoc to other events, just because your friends are going. You can say no. You're allowed to say no. In fact, it's better, I think, that we take our time and say no to most things unless we really, 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 really want to do it. That way, you say yes to you. You prioritize yourself and you're teaching yourself that I come first. That, do I really want to do this, or am I doing this just to make other people happy? Am I doing this so I'm accepted from this friendship group? Am I doing this because I want the validation and approval from this person? Whatever it may be. When you learn to set boundaries and say no, this is how you will protect your energy and your peace. Okay, the next point number 4, how to become a sexy, magnetic woman, confident, who is exuding this energy about her that draws people in, who is an attractor, not a chaser. How do you become that woman? The next point is to consider upgrading your style, your personal style. You know, the reason why I've added this, because I've learned and I've realized how important our style, the way we show up in the world is, and the way it impacts our presence. Our style is a reflection of our personality. It's a way of communicating without saying anything. It's a way of saying to people, this is who I am. And it's an opportunity for us to have fun, to play, and to express ourselves, to show our personality. I think so many of us, I know I was so, in the background kind of girl, always wearing black, blending in. Nothing wrong with wearing black, but I knew it was because I wanted to just blend in with the background. I didn't want to be seen, and I was afraid to wear colors where it will make me stand out. But I've realized that if you give yourself a chance to be courageous and to explore and experiment, it makes you feel good. It's a representation of who you are. And this is what makes a woman magnetic. Ever seen a woman who's fully embodied in her unique style, walking in a way where you know that she knows who she is, she's reflecting that through her style and the clothes that she's wearing. That's freaking sexy. And this is what I mean about a woman being magnetic. And it's not just about going out there and buying the high-end designer clothes. No, it's about spending some time thinking about the colors that suit you, and also finding clothes that flatter your unique body type, because so many of us, we are worried about certain parts of our body, or we don't like it. We all have parts of our body that we don't like. And so it's about finding clothes that flatter your body shape and your style. And when you experiment, when you give yourselves to explore and have fun, you will notice that certain clothes look good on you more than others. And when you show up and wear clothes that you feel good in, you will look sexy, you will be attractive, you will be magnetic. The next point number 5, how to become a magnetic, sexy woman, is to think about how you are making people feel around social settings, in a work environment. There's a saying that people won't remember what you tell them about your achievements and the things that you've accomplished as much as how you've made them feel. If you think about it, we remember how people make us feel. Did they make us feel special when we go on dates? More than what that person says, we come away remembering, did this person make me feel heard? Could I be myself around this person? Did I feel listened to? So a woman who has mastered the art of communication, not just verbal, including non-verbal communication, is what makes her super duper attractive. What does it mean, mastering the art of communication? Well, it means knowing how to communicate, not just with verbal communication, but also paying attention to your non-verbal communication. This means active listening. So many of us, we struggle to actually listen, but this is what people want. So many people walking around, they just want someone to listen to them properly, giving them the attention without someone's head being down on the phone, distracted, being present. It's so rude when you're talking to someone and, they're bringing out their phone when their notification hits. I know we can be so easily distracted. We live in a day and age where we are distracted. But if we remember that, you won't like it if someone is looking at their phone when you're talking to them, it's kind of rude, unless of course it's urgent. The same way, if you understand someone else is going to find that quite rude, then being mindful about the way you are interacting with people, making people feel seen and heard, giving them your full attention as much as possible. This is what people will remember, how you made them feel, that they felt heard, they felt seen, you made them feel special. And this is what makes people want to be around you, because they can see that you're someone who's giving them attention. The next point is to practice articulating yourself and communicating in a way that's effective. A huge part of what makes someone attractive is not just the way they look like externally, but also about how they can communicate. So many of us, we overlook this important skill. I know for me, it's something that I'm trying to work on, and it's something that I noticed later in my own life, how important this skill is. Communication is everything. We need it for so many different things in our life, important things, for a relationship, talking to our partner, overcoming conflicts, being able to communicate in different situations is the key to getting any message across. And a woman who's able to articulate herself in a way where she knows how to say things to who, and a way to say things, there's a saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it that makes an impact on people. When a woman has that skill, it's like, it's sexy, it's attractive. The way she speaks and the words that she's using to articulate herself is profound, it's important. So I really encourage you to work on developing your communication skills and learning how to articulate yourself in a way where you feel confident to express yourself, that people will listen to you. And the next point, how to become a woman who's confident, sexy, and attractive, magnetic. Number 6 is a woman who knows the importance of practicing self-care and filling in her own cup first. As women, we have been taught, in particular in certain cultures more than others, that we need to be the givers, we need to be the nurturers. So we end up being in this constant state of giving, give. And that's how we end up feeling exhausted, tired, depleted. There's so many of us like that, so many sisters, so many friends I can think of who are just freaking exhausted. So when we show up in a world where we've got nothing to give, when we're already tired, this isn't the magnetic energy. This isn't vibrating at high frequency. We're exhausted, we're tired. The way a woman becomes magnetic and sexy is when she knows how to set boundaries, protect her peace, and also how to fill in her own cup, making sure that she practices self-care rituals so that she is giving herself that love that she needs first and foremost, so that she can show up in a world where she is ready to give her best self to people, to her family, to her partner, to her friends. And that means setting boundaries. That means taking time out to spend a day alone and do some spa rituals, do your nails, do your hair, do some exercise, cook for yourself. It means understanding the importance of charging yourself, giving love to yourself, taking care of yourself, and not just expecting that from other people, learning to love yourself first. And that's how you will become a woman who is radiating this energy where people can see that this woman is honoring her body, honoring herself, her mental well-being, her emotional well-being, and is showing up in a world that you are content in who you are and you've taken care of yourself. Therefore, you are going to be radiating this beautiful energy about you that people are drawn to, that people are magnetized towards, because you have become this woman who is embodying this beautiful energy within you and accepting yourself, understanding that you are worthy and deserving of the things that you want in life, and you're not going to tolerate people that disrespect you, that take advantage of you, understanding the importance of giving yourself time, giving yourself that pleasure of wearing things that bring you joy, exercising. It all comes down to the relationship that you have with yourself first and foremost, and that is what makes a woman truly magnetic, in my opinion. These are my 6 points: how a woman becomes sexy, confident, magnetic. Share with me if you can relate to anything that I've said. I hope that you found this video useful, that you can take something away from it. Let me know, share your comments with me below. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're all doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.